Hello, gorgeous. In the summer of I think it was 86 or 87, I was working on my master's in directing, and I took a stage makeup class, graduate stage makeup class, and I'm going to show you a project I did. It was not original, but oh, that was Wet and Wild, by the way, a paint pot in black. I think I adapted this from a photo that was in Vogue magazine, of all things. And I'm thinking this black I just showed you is so-so for my purposes. I adapted this from a photo I think I saw in Vogue magazine or something. Okay, this next thing I'm showing you is a Wet n Wild fantasy maker. I believe it's lipstick, and the color is black. And I try it on my hand, and it certainly looks better than the first one. I'm impressed. Okay. So anyway, I did this project, and my idea was to use this makeup I saw in the magazine, which I changed somewhat, to be the character of a Greek chorus. Okay, that was a Wet n Wild white paint pot. And it doesn't have very much color at all, as I show you. If I had some clown white, it would be much better, but I don't. So I'm using this, and now I'm showing you Fantasy Makers by Wet n Wild Enchanting Body Crayon. And this is much better. It's much thicker. Okay, so I'm going to start working with these. Oh yes, this last product, it's an eyeliner. If you're like me, sometimes you get these eyeliners are just too thick for using in real life. This is Sumita Beauty Kala Black Color Intense Pencil, and it's just so thick and stiff that I put it in my stage makeup box, and it's perfect for these purposes. Okay, so a Greek chorus is a group of performers. They aren't any individuals. They operate as a group and as a collective voice. Okay, that says Fake Scar, by the way. That I bought in that cheapy little stage makeup box I bought a couple of years ago that I showed y'all. And I felt it, and it seemed like derma wax to me. And look, I'm really pleased. It is just like derma wax. And this I'm using to flatten my unruly eyebrows, because I want them completely flat. Okay, so anyway, the Greek chorus, they'll comment on the action that's going on in the play. It was usually between 12 and 40 or 50, and sometimes they dance, sometimes they sing, but usually they just speak their lines in unison. And back in those days, they wore masks, but I wanted to do it for a modern production where they were just wearing makeup instead of masks. So the sort of information a Greek chorus gives is that they give background information that might help the audience understand what's going on in the play, or they might talk about the themes that are going, being expressed in the play. But sometimes they'll actually hint to the audience how they might feel about the play. Okay, you're going to see that I'm pleased with the derma wax that it's holding there. And now I'm going to start applying this white makeup, the one that's kind of like clown white, just not as intense. Also, and here's the important part, the chorus would tell the audience things that the main characters just couldn't say, like, what a director would call their subtext, such as their hidden fears or secrets, things, that they just couldn't say. Also, they would often speak to the character on stage, giving them insight that they might need, or they might act like cheerleaders, giving praise or criticism. And so in that light, my thought was, okay, praise, that's a bright, cheerful white color. Criticism, that's the dark color. And I would make, half of my face white, half of my face black. When they're dishing out the good news, they'd stand in profile with the white side of the face showing. When they're dishing out the bad or sad or tragic news, they'd, stand with the black side of their face showing. And I thought this, would be a Greek tragedy, so not a comedy, so everything's going to be in black or white, good or bad. That's the sort of subject matters that were addressed in Greek tragedy. Okay, I don't know if you can tell here, but I started rubbing it on. It was not as intense as I needed, so at some point then I started just, punching it in. And in just a minute here, you will also see that I'll take the white pencil to just cover some places where I didn't feel like it covered well enough. And from here on, I'll tell you what I'm doing, and I'll be fast forwarding. Okay, so this is where I'm taking the white pencil and intensifying the areas that even with the blotting and punching in of that clown white, it just didn't quite work. Okay, this little product I got at a Chinese store, gosh, I think back in high school. This is called Bedak Sampong, and it's from Malaysia. It's a 85-cent calcium carbonate, 14% talc, and 1% fragrance. Okay, so I'm feeling it to see that it's dry and well powdered. I'm happy with it. So now I'm taking that pencil, and what I'm going to be doing is drawing. It's not really so much as lightning bolts, but it's almost like little tentacles that are going to reach, from the black into the white, and they're going to reach from the white into the black, because nothing's ever all black or white. And at this point, I believe that, what is it? Yeah, that I need the mirror to see what I'm doing. Okay, so I think I'm satisfied, except that I look under the chin, and I really don't like that. I want to extend the black a little lower under the chin. So I go back in with the pencil and lower that area. So now that I've got the sharp points drawn in, I'm going in with the lipstick, which is nice and dark, and to fill in the pointed areas. I'll come back in with the paint pot later, but I just feel like I want to get it as dark as I possibly can in these pointed areas, and then it will be easier to fill it in with the other when I finish with this part. At this point, I decided that some of these points weren't really pointy enough to suit me, so I take about 15 minutes here to find my pencil sharpener so I can sharpen that eyeliner and make these points pointier. At that point, the lead fell out of the pencil. It's obviously not my day, so I heave a great sigh and sharpen again. So now that I'm satisfied with my sharp little points, I'm going back in with the lipstick to finish filling out these pointed areas. Okay, so having filled in all the pointed areas to what I feel is a good enough degree, I take a moment to find the appropriate brush for filling in the rest of the area with the black Wet n Wild paint pot. So here's the appropriate brush. It needs to be short, flat, and very tight. A loose brush isn't going to do here. It's got to be tight. So at this point, I've finished with the brush, and I'm going back in with the pencil. I'm going to fill in my water line here. And at this point, I decide that I need to do the white side too with the water line, but also I'm going to repair this area here on the lip where some of the black paint pot has rubbed off somehow. Okay, now here's my concern. I actually did do a test run with this beforehand. This Milani Prep Set and Go says it's transparent face powder, which means I should be able to use it on top of the black. By the way, this brush is an old Prescriptives brush. It's called a round buff brush. And this is like, oh gosh, a 22, 23-year-old brush. It used to be my favorite brush, but over the year, brushes have improved, and it's now really, I don't know, it's hard on my face. It's not as soft as new brushes are. Also, it's starting to lose hair. So I relegated it to the Stage makeup box, and I have a feeling it's just going to go bye-bye completely because it's starting to lose so many hairs. So that has left a bit of a dusting, and I'm going to use a setting spray on it because that usually knocks off a powdery look. And I mean, it indeed does. In some places, you'll see I have to get up a little closer and double check and mirror, but it does a pretty good job of getting rid of that powdery look. And when I'm finished spraying here, I want to dry it down so y'all will get a good look, and I actually use some canned air to do that. So at this point, I want to tell you, I don't expect, unless you're in theater, you're going to go to a costume party and say, hi, I came as Greek chorus. But I think if you wore, if you put together an outfit that was black on one side and white on the other, you could certainly go and say, hi, I've come as darkness and light, or something like that. And I think it would be really cool. But here's the look how it would be on stage if you were like Greek chorus and you wanted to face one way and tell the happy stuff and face the other way and tell the dark stuff. So anyway, that's it. I hope you'll enjoy this, and I don't know, maybe you'll use it someday for a costume party. If not, I hope you enjoyed it. Love y'all. Bye.